is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verses 1 to 5. Then I looked, and there was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him were 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, like the sound of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps. And they sing a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who have been redeemed from the earth. It is these who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. These follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been redeemed from humankind as first fruits for God, and the Lamb, and in their mouth no lie was found. They are blameless. The word of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters, generosity of spirit is not that easy to measure. If we really can understand, we need to understand, dear brothers and sisters, that sometimes some people who seem to be doing little things may be making actually a great effort to do so. This is what Jesus speaks to us through his living word today. Let us now listen to it. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. He looked up and saw rich people putting their gifts into the treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins. He said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, has put in all she had to live on." This is the gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters and my dear children, even as children or even as adults, we always like to keep ourselves closer to God. And we always feel it, and we have a need for it. Dear brothers and sisters, to be close to God, that needs or that calls for unconditional commitment. Can you commit yourselves totally to God? If you can do so, even being in your own statuses, well, that would be the best example that you could give to the whole of Christian society. But we have had the experience of so many martyrs and virgins, so many saints who have totally given their total life even, all what they speak, all what they think, and all what they did, everything totally they committed to God, dear brothers and sisters. Well, that amount of commitment needs to go an extra mile, I would say. That's why Jesus himself said, if you really want to commit yourself, give your shirt, give your cloak to the poor, which is a sign or which is really a demand Jesus makes us, and Jesus teaches us by saying that you need to make a great effort to be closer to God. For us, Jesus says, be so generous. Now look at this poor widow. He offered her last 2 copper coins for the upkeep of the temple. This is what she had. This is what all she had. That was not something extra she had. But all those rich, maybe they were offering whatever they earn, maybe an extra amount which they had, they offered all that to God. But measuring the generosity or measuring the excess we have, or to measure the generosity of our heart, is left to God. With outward signs, maybe that we cannot really find how much generous we are. We know it, our conscience know it, and God knows it, but not the others. My dear brothers and sisters, giving until we are hurt, I would say. Now what is this? Take, for example, the life of Christ. He totally gave himself. He had no place to stay. He had no house. He gave everything ultimately. At the moment of his sacrifice in his life, he gave even the clothes he was wearing, and totally he was hurt. He felt the pain of that hurtful situation, and he gave his total life for the sins of the world, the humankind, the humanity. And this is what total commitment and generosity means, dear brothers and sisters. So people, maybe who are doing little things, make a great effort to do so. And only God can measure our generosity. But can we measure, or can we see how visibly that we can be so generous, and at the same time how we can totally commit ourselves to God? It is the God who looks into us in a deep manner, dear brothers and sisters. So let's try in our best way to totally commit ourselves to God and to be a pleasant sacrifice. Thank you, and may the Spirit of the Lord be with you always.
Sri Wachanayano